brought to you almost live from the Dude in the Basement Studios. Why? Because that's where the good stuff is. It's Sips, Suds, and Smokes with your smoking host, the good old boys.
Hey, if you have not heard about our event at the Great American Beer Festival for 2014 in Denver, that we're here to tell you all about it, possibly.
Please do. Please do.
Oh, my goodness. You're still going, what's Belgian?
What is Belgium?
Oh, my God.
Is it in Denver? Really?
Listen, we're going to have this event. It's going to be at the Great American Beer Festival on Saturday, October 4th at the Cheeky Monk.
The Cheeky Monk?
There is no E in cheeky.
Cheeky monkey?
It's not Cheeky Monk. Do you know when you walk up and say Brother Monkey? No, you wouldn't.
Yes, I totally would.
I know
He
you
does.
would, Dave. That's for sure.
I say that often.
It's always a matter of questionable heritage with your education. So,
Okay, wait. So tell me more about the Cheeky Monk.
well, it's a Belgian cafe. Listen, we're going to hang out there. We're actually going to have an audience participation show. We're actually going to let people drink beer and actually talk into a microphone.
You mean
really?
like real people?
Like, really?
Dave, you don't qualify as real people, but thank you for playing.
Well, I knew
appreciate
that.
Really?
We might give you a micro. Definitely
Just give me a beer.
Listen.
Well, there'll be plenty of beer.
Listen to good old boy Mike. That's me. I'm going to be there. Good old gal Julieanna's
Hell
gonna be
yeah.
there. And good old boy Dave is going to be there. With all of his questionable behavior characteristics. Reverend Mark is going to be there telling you about this and saying hello to everybody. Listen, we're going to have a couple of special guest appearances. If you got to hear some of our shows about the Great American Beer Festival Pro-Am competition, Chris Allen, who is in the competition,
Woohoo!
is actually going to be there at making a special appearance with his Gozea.
Gozea.
Or Goza.
And Zaya.
Yes, Zaya will be there probably as well. We might have some other special appearances. You'll get to actually meet Reverend Mark as well.
Hey, everybody. I'm Reverend Mark.
And he may actually talk to
into
you
the
directly.
microphone, yes.
Make him lucky in the eye.
Listen, if you just want to make it, just turn your head, as you're talking to him, it'll work. So he actually has competed in the Pro-Am competition. If you want to hear about some of those experiences we had from last year, in the Pro-Am competition with Reverend Mark. That would be great as well. Listen, we're going to do some other fun things while we're there as well. We're going to have a big gathering of people with beer, and so I've decided...
Imagine that.
Yeah,
Will there be prizes?
There better be prizes.
We're going to give away IQ points from you, Dave. That's what we're going to do. All three of them.
There will not be a lot left over.
So we are going to have our beer trivia contest once again. Last year we held it in Denver, and there are people that are picketing outside Coors Field still with all the questionable answers that we actually had from that beer trivia contest.
And there's more questions to come.
That's right. They were going, you suck. Yes. My question was right. Yo, bud, you're wrong.
What is the definition of chuggling?
That's correct. There you go. That will be on the test. That's question number 5 coming from Dave. So we're going to have a lot of fun with the beer trivia contest. Listen, if you'd like to come and join us, we'd love to have you in the house at Cheeky Monk on October 4th.
And
At 5 to 7 Mountain Time?
Yeah. Can you tell time, Dave?
No, I just saw that.
I don't think so.
Somewhere.
I know. At least you can
Well,
read.
when the little hand is on the 5 and the big hand is
That's
on
correct,
the
Dave.
10 plus 2.
So the way that you actually get to this thing is you have to know the secret password to get through Dave. But the easiest way is for you
or
to register.
slip me a beer.
Yeah, that too. Register online through our Facebook page at Sips, Suds, and Smokes, our Facebook page. There's an event on there for our GABF event. Listen, if you RSVP, you have a chance to actually win 1 bottle of West Leader 12.
And a dream
With the
date
cap?
with good old boy Dave.
With the cap.
But no beer.
Dave's going to drink half of it and then recap the bottle for you.
We're going to hang out, walk down the street,
That's
drink
right.
beer.
I'm going to give the West Leader a 3 because I only drank half of it. That's exactly what's going to happen. Listen, we're going to have a great time. There are going to be some other prizes we're going to give away. You'll get to we get a good chance to get some of our magical t-shirts. Listen, we'll be walking around Denver all during GABF. So if you don't have a magical t-shirt now, it's a great time to pick one up. If we see you in a bottle shop or in a restaurant or at a bar or something like that, and you're wearing a magical t-shirt, hey, guess what? The tab's on us. We'll actually pick it up for you. So it's a really great deal to get those magical t-shirts. We're going to give away quite a few of those actually at this event as well. Yeah, I know, that was Dave. And we got to give a full sound effect for that. I'm sorry, what do you think of that idea, Dave?
I think you may have another.
Yeah, I know. Well, listen, we really hope to see all of you there in Denver, October 4th from 5 to 7 at Cheeky Monk.
E?
No, not E. Listen, we're going to be at the Colfax location. There's actually two Cheeky Monk
E's.
So we'd love to see you there. Joining me definitely will be
me, Julieanna,
and
Dave.
Questionable Dave,
and possibly Reverend Mark,
or the ghost of Reverend Mark.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, we'd love to see you there. This is good old boy Mike. I'm going to ask you to come and join us there, and ask you to keep on sipping.
Suds, Suds, Suds. It's time for more Suds.
Hello and welcome to this Suds episode where everything good in life is worth discussing. We now are the best thing on at 2 a.m. So thank you for listening to us instead of fishing with Larry. And we're casting and we're waiting and we're casting and we're waiting. Hang on a second. Let me find the perfect fly here. I love the stream. I hear the wind blowing. I'm sorry, you are on the correct radio station because we talk about beer, and more beer on our Suds segment. I am one of your humble hosts here at the table, good old boy Mike. Joining me, our good old gal Julieanna. Cheers, beer drinkers. And good old boy, less than famous Dave.
Hey.
You know, I'm sorry, there's a hand gesture with that you were just not using effectively.
Well, it's radio.
Okay, all right. Hey!
Hand gesture is implied.
Did you think about that the whole way here?
Just totally off the cuff,
it's less than inspirational.
I don't think about anything for that long.
Well, I know, that's true, Dave. So that's the reason why you're overqualified for this show. So
overqualified, undervalued.
I know, yes. That's the reason why we're all here. Our Suds segments are all about beer, and more beer. Today is a show and tell segment. We're going to be discussing 3 beers. The first one is from Prairie Ale called Merica. We have previously reviewed this beer on our Prairie Ale show, but Dave brought this today for us to talk about and was not on that show, so I look forward to covering that from his perspective as well. The second beer is going to be Not the Stoic, a Belgian quad from Deschutes. It's the beer I brought for us to talk about. And the last beer that we're going to talk about is Wild Brew. It's a collaboration from a group called Foam. I'm going to call it First Idiots from Oklahoma, but it is actually...
You're so painful.
I know.
It is the Fellowship of Oklahoma Ale Makers.
Yeah, so this is 128 guys that get together and drink beer and have nothing better to do in life. But
Hey, it's Oklahoma. At least they're making beer there.
Yeah, well, there's football and then there's this. So anyway, the other 2 collaboration partners for this beer are Prairie Ale and Choc, where most Prairie Ales are actually bottled as well. So those are the 3 beers that we're going to get to go through and discuss today. And telling us what we're going to do, Julieanna gets the honors of going over our Suds ratings for today.
Woohoo! Okay, we'll be tasting and discussing these beers and rating them with these Suds ratings, plus our signature belching sounds, of course. Here are those ratings now. Number 1. That sucks. Give me anything but a bud. Number 2. Was that a belch? Number 3. Ah, what a relief. Number 4. A body should really not make that sound. And number 5. Listen to that hang time. Give me another.
So we forgot to mention our our host in absentia today, and Dave's going to be playing the part of Reverend Mark.
So at certain times when you hear me talk, if I veer off a little bit like this, that is an unspoken tribute to Reverend Mark, who is not able to be with us today.
We love Reverend Mark. We really do. He presents some challenging aspects of production for us because
you can't control Reverend Mark.
You know, he tends to talk right into the ground like this, and so he comes back, and you get to hear him, and so it takes me a little while.
Likes to look off at his notes while he's talking. And things.
But you know what? As a preacher, I'm sure he does that all the time.
He's always going off script.
It keeps everybody on their toes, including those of us that do post-production, for a radio show, so... Listen, today's show is a show and tell episode. Each of our hosts has brought a beer to talk about today. The rest of the hosts have had a chance to try each of these beers. Each host is going to introduce the beer, discuss their tasting notes, and then rate that beer with our Suds tastings as well. So we've gone through the 3 beers we're going to go through. First up, we're going to talk about a beer from Prairie Ale, Merica. Dave brought this beer. Tell us all about this beer, Dave.
Well, Merica is a farmhouse saison. It's actually what is called a smash beer, single malt and single hop. Which, for no other reason to try it, I think that's a very interesting thing. 4 malted Pilsner and Nelson Sauvin hops are the only 2 ingredients other than water, and 1, 2, 3 strains of yeast.
Wow, that is that's a lot going on. That's a lot to control in production, I would imagine.
Absolutely, absolutely, especially when you're dealing with Brett, Brettanomyces, 2 strains of Brett. So, you definitely have to keep an eye on that stuff. It'll get a little hairy on you. And then also a white wine yeast strain, too.
Well, that makes it chippy and interesting.
Yeah. So, when you have something like this, you're going to get a fairly thin body, just because with that many types of yeast, especially with the Brett, it's going to ferment out pretty much everything. It's going to pull it and dry it out. And that's kind of what you get here. You get a nice, dry, very bready beer with a very nice little wine kind of back notes in it. Light body. It's well carbed. I think it's really good. In fact, I gave this beer a 4.
Wow, how about that? Right off the bat, a body should really not make that sound.
Reverend Mark gives it a 4.
I love that. I thought it was dry a little bit. So weird. Yeah, it was a good beer. 4. I like that. That's pretty good. So I had a chance to taste this, and it'll be interesting for me to actually go back and listen to my prior notes from this last time. So my notes here on Merica. Pure Nelson. I mean, this is just like, it's the first thing that hits you. It's a very earthy presentation, but it's bright. It's a little tough to take full sips of this beer. It just kind of overwhelm your palate. I would not call this a guzzling or chuggling. That's a real word, right? I don't think so.
It is now.
A chuggling.
It's a sip, suds, and smokes verbiage.
It is definitely a sipping beer for sure. My suds rating for Merica is going to be 3. Julieanna, what did you think of Merica from Prairie Ale?
I dug it. I got a lot of grapiness, off of it, which is, Nelson, they're standing out in
and
front of
kind of musty, too, a little bit.
Yeah. But,
I think
there's
that's
a bit...
me. Sorry.
That could be you. You're right.
I'll turn the fan on for you, Dave.
Thank you.
Reverend Mark, please take a bath. Okay.
I didn't notice.
But like a good degree of barnhousey, kind of stuff and
Barnhouse?
Good, barnhouse, yeah. I know. I made that up right now.
Thank you. I like that.
Thank you.
This is Dave making words.
Chuggling and
barnhouse. Thank you very much for playing that freaky word.
You're gonna have to put like a glossary on the website.
And we're casting and waiting. And we're casting and waiting. We're castellating.
Yes, we're castellating. But
I think that's illegal in Tennessee.
Probably.
Man, we're doomed. Anyways, a good amount of citrus. I mean, it's true that you can't take a full sip, and this isn't, a true lawnmower beer, but it's
no,
but it's
You'd wreck your lawnmower.
Yeah, you would, but it's still like a good, refreshing summer beer.
Oh, there'll be nothing left on your palate after you take a swig of this.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
It clears out everything.
It's scraping everything out, and your nasal cavity. Your nasal cavity. Thank you for playing.
The nuzzle.
Chuggling,
Barn house, and nuzzling. Nozzle.
And thank you for fun with words here. And we're casting and waiting and casting and
We
waiting.
really have not had that much to drink, folks.
You wouldn't think it, though.
That's pretty sad.
This is just the first take.
Wow.
And if you're just now joining us, we're on our first beer.
Anyways, I gave this a 4 as well.
Oh, okay. 4. How about that?
Yep.
A body should really not make that sound. All right. Well, we're around with our first beer, and we've only made up 8 words if you're just now joining us.
More to come.
Yep, I know. I'm up next. Oh, my goodness. Someone take the microphone away from me. So the beer that I brought today is from Deschutes out of Oregon, is where they're at. They're in Bend. Now, Deschutes is actually a river in Oregon as well, if my geography serves me fairly well. And
Would that be why there's a river in the logo?
yeah, I guess so. I'm sorry.
Wow.
I'm slow, and I can't obviously see the label well enough. So
She's kind of a jerk sometimes.
I'm telling you, you would think I've never been to Oregon. Well, yeah, I have. They're going to ban me now. That's for sure. That would be correct. So Deschutes makes some really great beers, and this is the beer that I brought today is a Belgian quad called Not the Stoic. They actually make another beer called Stoic. This beer has been previously released as well, and it's been around 2 or 3 seasons, I believe, at least. Deschutes is pretty widely distributed, and that's the reason why I wanted to talk about this beer. So definitely, if you are in the West Coast, California, Oregon, or Washington, you can usually find this beer. But you can find it, in the Midwest, in the Illinois area, Kentucky, Minnesota, Missouri, even in New York, pretty easily. So,
Not Tennessee.
No, that would be negatory. You can definitely not find it here. Probably, violating some distribution law of some kind that was put together in 1912.
You can find Bud Light here, but you cannot find Deschutes.
Go figure.
Somebody tell me what's right about that.
We have it here today to talk about, that's for sure. So a Belgian quad is what Not the Stoic is. And, I would say that this is not what I would consider the reference standard, for Belgian quad. In fact, right. I would say that, if somebody were to tell me that they have had some other Belgian quads and they're looking for something that's just not quite invasive,
right?
This would probably be something that I would offer up. On the nose, you don't really kind of get that burnt amber kind of sugar, coming off the aroma of this. At the risk of running into trademark infringement, I would call this Quad Light. Please do not sue good old boy Mike. Wow. I'd appreciate it.
Somebody's going to make that.
I know, yeah. They're not going to call it. They're going to call it Mike the Light, but I don't know what they're going to call it. There are some other things that kind of get presented in this as well. There's kind of a dark pitted fruit, maybe a hint of black cherry, kind of here and there. But this is definitely not what I would consider the big bad quad that a lot of other quads that I've had. So I think I'm looking at, in some relative comparison of a lot of things along this, my rating for Deschutes Not the Stoic is going to be 3. Which is, what a relief. Julieanna, what did you think of Not the Stoic?
Well, I want to thank you for this beer, because I'm completely enjoying it.
Cool. I'm glad you
and I think because it's not the traditional Belgian. This is a semi-warm day today, and this is a bit lighter, but this is like the pinky up Belgian. quad because it's got. I'm tasting so much.
I'm sorry. Would you be going? Hey.
Hey. Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Finally, we've come
like
up
the
with
fruits that are in this beer.
That's true. Yeah.
And there's a lot of them. I mean, I'm tasting plum and
Yeah,
I'm
a lot of
tasting
dark plum.
fig and molasses. There's, but it's still on the light side of things, which really appeals to me, at this time of year. It's not as chewy as a traditional quad would be, and I really like it, and I really like the fact that they aged it in the Pinot barrels as well as like a traditional, a regular oak barrel.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I actually didn't mention that.
Yeah, so it's got this like really nice, grapey taste to it to help lighten it. So if you're sort of if you're shying away from quads, this is a nice quad to engage yourself into because it's not the traditional. And I gave it a 4.
Oh wow! How about
and
that?
I'm still drinking it.
So there were Cupid. That's word
Cupid
number.
dolls?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That is word number 10. Thank you very much for playing.
All right.
And we're casting and waiting and casting and waiting. Some of the other background to give you about this: the malt for this is Pilsner Special B Crystal Rye. The hops is Czech Saaz. There is some molasses in this. It's a pomegranate molasses. It's in this, and it's not in pure Pinot barrels. They actually do it 11 months in Pinot barrels and 15% in rye whiskey barrels. Now, keep up with that production cycle. That would be pretty tough.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, that would be awfully tough, and to do it consistently with so much going on. Dave, what do you think of Deschutes, not the Stoic here?
Well, I really liked it. When we first poured it, it was colder. And to me, the body, the mouthfeel was really nice, but the burnt caramel flavors really kind of came out. And as it's warmed up, the oak has really started to come out for me. Not a traditional quad, but you know what? I mean, sometimes we get too hung up, I think, in what's a quad, what's a triple, what's a double, what's a whatever. Dark Belgian strong, golden strong. I'm sorry, I'm just reading from the BJCP stuff.
I'm sorry, I'm still stuck with
Yeah. So
that's in your imaginary Google Doc reader glasses.
Reverend,
that whole rambling thing. You couldn't come up with one new word.
Yeah, Reverend Mark and I were talking about it, and what were you saying, Reverend Mark? Well, I think the oak staves from the barrels probably were from an oak tree that grew on a hill. So, anyways,
I'm sure it was a hill, a special hill.
Yeah, a hill of my own creation. Or was that a pile? Anyways,
back to the mirror. Not the Stoic from Deschutes.
I really thought it was a good beer. Good flavor. It was easy to drink. To me, the main thing was you did not get a huge flavor from the iPhone. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I call you out on that? No, you didn't get a huge flavor from the yeast. To me, I didn't get a lot of that. So that would be the only non-characteristic thing to me. But anyways, I gave it a 4.
Wow, how about that? Well, I'm glad we're around, and I've cleared my throat about 20 times, and still we have one more beer to talk about. I'm sure there are at least 5 more words we're going to make up in the course of this episode, and we're casting, and we're waiting, and we're casting as the gentle breeze is coming over us. Thank you for fishing with Larry here. Next up is Julieanna. We're here to talk about the Wild Brew Wild collaboration from Foam, Prairie, and Choc. Tell us all about this beer, Julieanna.
Okay, so this was made for, which I think is kind of cool, and I didn't even realize this happens, that there is a Wild Brew Festival in Tulsa, Oklahoma every year.
Yes.
Who would have thunk? And so this collaboration...
It's actually Who Would Have Funk, but that's okay.
Who would have thunk?
Thank you.
And so
we're making up words here on Fishing with Larry.
And so this was a nice collaboration between home brewers and pro brewers for this particular event. So as a home brewer, I salute them for doing this. That's pretty cool. Exactly. So it is a traditional saison, except that it is brewed with spelt.
How is that spelled?
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So for me, I really enjoyed it.
Should we send Dave to the timeout corner?
Yeah, really. It's got
Most of my time there.
lately. It's got the funky barn house, that we all can appreciate. I'm getting a bit of sourdough, and it's reminding me of those spelt pretzels that the little people in Lancaster County make every so often. Yes, I'm referring to my home state. And yes, the Amish or the Romish.
You are half.
There you
Amish,
go. Word number 11. Thank you very much.
Well, she's part Russian, part Amish. That makes her Romish.
If you guess the number of words we make up during this episode, we'll send you a free magical T-shirt.
Very magical.
Has my picture on it.
Sure. And there's a good amount of citrus in it as well. What you would expect from a saison. And I thought it was a good collaboration. And I give it a 4.
Wow, how about that? A buddy should really not make that sound. Dave, what did you think of Wild Brew collaboration from Foam, Prairie, and Choc?
Well, the Wild Brew and I got off to a little bit of a rocky start.
Oh, yeah, that's true. We forgot to tell the tale.
When I opened the bottle, it almost hit me in the face, and the cork disappeared. So if anyone in Radioland finds a spelt cork...
We could have a contest. Find that cork.
If you can find
get a free
cork,
case of beer.
Which, that's a little bit of a dangerous... In some circles, that's a dangerous...
Is this your cork?
Hey, boy.
No, but thank you. And we love your questionable hygiene.
Now, please put that back.
Yeah. You're not supposed to put it in your mouth.
Anywho.
Oh, really?
So, while I do recommend buying this beer, I do not recommend opening it yourself. And definitely point
without
it
a
away.
face shield.
Yeah, point it away from your face, or have one of your already ugly friends open it,
or a good lawyer nearby.
Yeah. So, all the barn house and spelt stuff she was saying, that pretty much is for me.
And this is only a couple beers in.
I tell you, yeah. It's a good thing we're not reviewing 10 beers a day.
Yeah. This one, despite the fact that it was very well carbed, still had a good mouthfeel. And, a lot of times heavy carbonation will thin it out. But I felt that it was a good example of a saison with a spelt twist. So would that be a spwist? I'm sorry, I haven't made up a word today. Dude, that's my first one.
Not
the jury's out.
Just
yeah.
not even close.
Yeah.
We're not even going to give you credit for that
one. Next.
All right, fine.
All right.
I give it a 3.
And your Suds rating for this is
a friggin' 3.
Ah, what a relief.
I hate you guys.
Oh, yeah. He says that with love every time. Interesting collaboration. And the very first time that I've had this particular beer, my notes around Wild Brew are kind of earthy funk. I know it's a technical term. It's right there on the judging sheet. I actually wrote down well balanced because I thought that of the things that were going on, and there is a lot going on in this beer, there still was some sense of balance of it all. There's kind of a hint of sour, but it is not what I would call a full throttle beer. This is something that you can... It's approachable, and other than having to wear a face mask or a face shield when you open it, I
approach it from the rear.
I'm not going to cover that one. Those are not in my tasting notes. Those are all Dave.
That might be my new tagline.
Yeah. Actually, that's from Reverend Mark. I can approach it from the rear. Okay, all right. We got you covered there, Reverend Mark. My Suds rating for Wild Brew is actually going to be 3. Oh, what a relief. Whew, thank God. I can't believe we actually got through those 3 beers.
Wow.
Maybe we should take a pause and actually open up a 4th just to make this a little more interesting.
The first time I had a beer like this, I was sitting in my den watching...
And you were chuggling.
I was chuggling beers, and looking at a barn house with.
He's going to walk right up here, just pop down in front of a microphone and go, "What are you guys doing?
What are you guys talking about? I don't do that.
Talking about?" So, sorry,
I'm just looking at my notes.
Yeah, look at him. So we are glad that you have decided to continue this entire half hour with us instead of fishing with Larry here at 2 a.m. on the good old sleeping hour. I'm good old boy Mike, fishing with Dave and talking about beer. Thank you for joining us. Well, we've had a great time here on this show talking about these 3 beers and a lot of great stuff for us to review. We have a lot of other great shows ahead of us and a lot more beer to talk about, both on Show and Tell as well as many of the other Suds episodes ahead of us. So be sure and stay tuned. Check those out. I want to thank all of our listeners here on Sips, Suds, and Smokes. You can catch all of our episodes online on iTunes, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, YouTube, on Behind Dave's Lazy Boy, and Uncle John's Basement.
Get me out of this basement.
Hey! Our native media host wants to shut us off every week. Spreaker, they actually cash our checks and still broadcast us out to every single place on the planet. Our terrestrial radio stations are questioning why in the heck whoever licensed this show, but hey, something had to compete with Fishing with Larry at 2 a.m. They're always expanding, and if you would like to hear this show on your favorite radio station, listen, send them a note, a case of beer, and copy us as well.
Especially the beer.
Yep, definitely beer.
Oh, beer.
Got like a Merica. You can reach us online anytime at info@sipsudsandsmokes.com. Fan mail to Dave can be sent to some other place.
That is so hurtful.
I know. I have a junk mail folder that's rather full.
Wonder why.
Hey, Mike's favorite drink is Haterade.
I know. Dave sounds so cute on the radio. Hey.
I look just like that too.
Yep. You just have to open it for the rear end. All right. So
wait, what?
Our daily tasting notes flow out on Twitter every day at Sips and Smokes. Our Facebook page is always buzzing with potential lawsuits and lots of news. Do us a favor and take the time to rate this episode if you're listening to us online. That's a big help to us, and we get to see your feedback as well. I definitely want to thank one of my co-hosts today, Julieanna. Thank you for being here.
Oh, pleasure's all mine.
Dave, it's questionable, but I will say thank you.
For the record, do not open from the rear end.
I guess so. Most of all, this is good old boy Mike asking you to join us once again and keep on sipping.
Yeah, it's funny how, muskie and carp both and northern pike have taken on, people have gotten interested in those over the past 10, 15 years. Where you would, prior to that, you'd have never thought of fly fishing, for one of those fish. Now they're so popular. So,
yeah,
it's great.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's great to see, these various resources and species being utilized. I think a lot of it has to do with, just better equipment and better understanding how to use it and just fly development, a combination of things, understanding the fish.
This has been a One Tan Hand production of Sips, Suds, and Smokes, a program devoted to the appreciation of some of the finer slices of life. From the Dude in the Basement Studios, your hosts, the Good Old Boys, will see y'all next time.